God, everything worked. It started the video automatically. This is fantastic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of This Week in Eorzea, the campy news broadcast parody show where we talk about all things new in Final Fantasy XIV. I have with me the super talented and beloved Pyra. Hello.
Oh, hello! I'm so sorry. My audio decided to echo there. Hello, everybody. It's me, Pyra.
Awesome. So we've got a couple of things we want to talk about today. We're going to try to walk this through as kind of a we don't know what we're doing, so let's try this thing. So let's see how it goes. Yeah. We got here. Let's talk about the news. Okay, what are 3 things you are going to make sure you do before Dawntrail launches or before the maintenance starts?
Before maintenance, one I think I just wrapped up, which would be prep my Wondrous Tales book and not turn it in. I've had to be shamed so many times on my Discord because shiny buttons saying turn this in keeps haunting me. But I will do my best to not turn it in. The next one's kind of cheesy. Screenshot. Every expansion, at the end of expansion, you kind of do like a nice goodbye screenshot with your friends, or even just solo in some of your favorite areas. And yeah, it just kind of sets the mood. It sets the tone for the new expansion. So I think that's my next one. And then yeah, I think the last one is just triple check that I have inventory space. I typically have maybe 1 space in my inventory at all times, and in my retainers, they're usually maxed out. So just making sure that I did not fill up on stuff in the past week after cleaning out.
Fantastic. No, that's a good list. Wondrous Tales is definitely on my radar too. I mean, I have the book. I'm probably may or may not finish it, but as long as you don't turn it in, it's fine. It's just if it's finished, you can turn it in right away and be right on the cutting edge there. I think in addition, the 3 things I'm gonna do is 1, get naked and chug a Fantasia. I know we get a free one, but I can't wait. So I'm going to be entering Dawntrail for the first time completely naked. So let's start it that way.
An expansion reborn, a game reborn. And so is Debbie.
Appearing from the live stream is my new Femme Hrothgar, yeah. Second is, oh man, I had this just a moment ago too. I know I want to make sure that my retainer is stocked up on dyes. Like my retainers are going to have full 2020 selling slots just to make sure I can take advantage of any insta purchases people want to make as soon as they log in.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that one, but I'm the same way. I have a color palette. I have my red and black and certain things, and so making sure that I'm stocked so I don't have to run to make some or go look for some.
Right. And the other one is I had it. I swear I had it. It was a good one too. You're gonna have to trust me on that. A lot of people log out kind of where they want to be in terms of picking up your first class quest if you're playing a new class. So, I mean, I guess as a default filler one, I can go with being in the city that I can pick up Viper in right away. But yeah, pretty standard. We were talking about this a little bit on my stream a couple of days ago. If this is someone's first expansion, what should they expect in the first couple of days?
Chaos. Absolute chaos. I mean that truthfully too. And Debbie, remind me too, did you also join in for at least the last Endwalker as the early access day?
Oh yeah, I've been early access since Heaven's Word. So I've been every early access.
So you understand the turmoil. Why I say chaos. It feels like it's very, it could either be good, it could either be bad, or anything in between. So just having patience and knowing that this too shall pass. The long queues shall pass. The probably random emergency maintenances shall pass. just try to relish it and enjoy it, because there's nothing like a new expansion where everyone's going in like a deer in the headlights, a kid in the candy store, and it's all new. It's all good.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a good point, and that's that one, there is always going to be emergency maintenance. Like over the first week, like random stuff is going to happen and they're going to shut down temporarily, just time and time again, just making sure that they fix everything as we break it. But also the good thing to keep in mind is there's always going to be memes. Like no release has ever gone flawlessly. And so Roban Savage, like Q Ultimate, like there's always going to be some sort of meme to these expansions.
Absolutely. I'm almost, not that I wish anything major, but I'm almost going to be sad if we don't have that. It's almost
Right?
like the unspoken tradition at this point of
Mhm.
just, something happens and in the moment it's stressful, but like once you get past it, it's like, that was funny. Like you see all the keychains with the
Yeah,
50,000 plus people in queue,
Yeah.
we'll
I
laugh at
was
it at some point.
there. I was
Yep.
there.
I was there, man. I saw the whole
I
thing.
was one of those 50,000 people. Hey, Prince. Yeah, so just ride that and keep in mind that spoilers are huge in this community, so a lot of people will not be talking about Dawntrail and will not be appreciating people talking about it. So the meme of the expansion will allow people to talk about the game without talking about the story.
Absolutely. And I think you touched upon a good point too with like if it's your first expansion. My little advice as well is if you do not want spoilers, stay off social media. Twitter, I spend a lot of time on Twitter or X or whatever you would like to call it now. And there are a lot of really good people that really try to preserve that nugget of information, but there are a lot of people that don't know how to have a filter. And so if you want to be as kept away from spoilers, try to stay away from social media, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, some people go to the extent of turning off shout chat or turning off say, so that if you accidentally pop into Limsa, like you don't overhear anything. It depends on how important this part of the story is to you, honestly. So just
sure.
keep in mind that if you're wanting to experience all with no spoilers, you kind of have to put on the blinders.
Absolutely. It's definitely like you said, kind of a to each their own level of moderation. I think the general community is good. Like even like in the cities, the general community is not going to shout spoilers, but it's like a random streaker running down the street. Someone will probably do it.
Sometimes it happens.
It happens.
No, it does. And if it's important that it doesn't happen to you, then protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Other than that, for the first couple of hours to weeks of an expansion, you got to understand that the market board is going to be chaos. So I remember with Endwalker, the prices of like farming mats, for example, so like gathering in a level 81 area, the prices kind of skyrocketed really high and then plunged straight down and stayed down for a while and then slowly crept back up again. Like, expect the unexpected. If you're kind of sad because something you thought would do well, like maybe it dies, for example, just crash in the marketplace, just don't panic because it will slowly rise as demand rises. And the game doesn't officially launch until the 2nd, even though that's kind of like a soft second launch. So just ride the market because it's not going to do what you think it's going to do.
Absolutely. And I think it's the first few days at least, or it's kind of the Wild West. Everyone's figuring it out. You have the people that are going to oversaturate the market and the market board right away and then never touch it again. So kind of like you said, ride the tide. Sometimes it's just everyone's flooding to the retainers right away to sell all the new shiny things, and it'll level out in time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of things that were kind of universal for it's going to be very different this time with all the extra space they have available, all the extra worlds and data centers. Zoned congestion used to be a big problem. So you would go to zone into the next area to do your MSQ quests, and it would not let you. It wouldn't let you teleport. It wouldn't let you walk in. It would just say zone is congested. And that's maybe something newer players haven't ever seen before. So definitely this is a situation where there's just too many people in one zone, and your options are to try again and again and again and again repeatedly, or try again later, or travel to Dynamis, which is apparently an option for everyone in North America this time around.
I think that's going to be a huge difference between the last launches of new expansions and this one, where we have that as an option now. And from everything I've read, they've invested a lot of money to make these additional servers happen. I don't think it'll prevent 100% of that congestion, but I do appreciate that it now gives us options. I know I read one of the latest lodestones. Wow, words are hard. One of the latest lodestone updates, and they're encouraging people, if story is important to you, but maybe you don't want to go to your retainers, maybe not having your FC buffs is important to you, head over to Dynamis. You're probably going to have a lot easier time getting in, less congestion. So I guess it's just kind of all your play style and how you see fit, how much you actually want to be on your home world. Maybe not. It might save you a little bit of time.
Absolutely, and especially if your plan for the evening is really just doing MSQ, there's no reason why you couldn't do that on another less congested world.
Absolutely.
Not congested, but less congested.
Less congested.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is breaking news, but I was at work today and I saw the flag for DDoS attacks happening again today in North America and Japan. That's happened for a few expansions. I think that even happened really bad with Heaven's Word. It shut down the game for a couple of weeks. I don't know. It wasn't launch, but it was maybe shortly after, like the Christmas time after, if my memory serves it all correctly. So, I mean, anytime there's people having fun, there's the possibility that someone's going to try to ruin it, right?
Yeah. It's honestly really sad. I've heard some people try to like stand up for the DDoSing, which I'm like, you're absolutely ridiculous. They're like, oh, Square Enix needs to learn a lesson. And it's like, they're really hurting like everyone, like right? Friends, everything like that. Like, no,
they've already got our subscription money. They're just hurting the people who want to play the game.
Right. They're going to make money no matter what. Don't know what to tell you. But it's a sad, unfortunate reality to a game this big, I think. However, and again, maybe I'm, knock on wood, blindless hopeful, but I'm very happy that at most it's been a minor inconvenience, and I hope that's all the DDoS attacks stay, is a minor inconvenience. Now, it will be really unfortunate with long queue times if everyone gets booted from the server and has to relog, so that's try not to worry about that too much, but definitely something that's like a little anxiety in my brain.
And on that, I suppose that same scenario, the whole everyone getting booted and relogging in at the same time, that's what causes those lobby errors. So you might experience those as well. So the game is up and running, you get back into queue, and it gives you a lobby error. That just means that like 50,000 people are trying to log in at once, and it's just not letting you. So those are just an example of the type of error that you could be seeing, and just try not to get too frustrated. It is what it is, and it's not new to Dawntrail.
Absolutely. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the last time I read about the server errors on the 48-hour maintenance page they kind of put what the lobby error is versus like a 90K, which is kind of a network connectivity error. I believe they said you have about a minute to re-log in and get your place back in queue. So if for some reason you do get kicked out while you're in a queue, try to log right back in. You might be able to just get right back in your spot, and that way avoid having to wait even longer in the queue.
Right. No, that's a good point too. And stay tuned to the lodestone. Like if you're not in the habit of checking it, maybe check it out at least once a day. Or if you happen to have the companion app, you can go into the companion app settings and have it give you an alert whenever something appears on the lodestone. That way you can check it out. If there is any news about what's going on and how to avoid it or how to continue playing the game, then that's where that information would appear.
Absolutely. That is my go-to news source. First is Lodestone. I have my nice Discord integrated Lodestone updated app. Gives me my notification. I read it in the morning. Sometimes I make a YouTube video about it just to let other people know what's going on.
Right.
Every new player, even current player, I'm like, go check the Lodestone. That's going to be your most official, up-to-date information that you can get.
Okay. Is there anything else that you've kind of remembered from past launches that maybe might be relevant to someone experiencing it for the first time?
I mean, not in particular. I know a launch like this, a lot of people who play, I would say on the hardcore end of things, or like really, really love this game, they take time off of work. And so kind of back to what you said, Debbie, about like be patient. It is frustrating when you're taking time off of work and maybe it's not going exactly as planned. Try your best to be patient. I know for myself, I during the Endwalker expansion, I took a week off, and one of the things I did was modify my wake up time. Like normally if I'm on vacation, I'm not waking up early, but because of the server login queues, I was like, I'll wake up early, log myself in, grab my breakfast while my queue's in, and kind of have like little changes to my schedule like that to make everything like run smooth. So maybe just be open-minded to possibly changing your schedule or just kind of like going with the flow on how the login queues go, and hopefully it's not super terrible.
Yeah, no, that is entirely true, and I've mentioned it as well. Like for Endwalker, you don't come home, change, shower, eat dinner, and then try to log on to play. The first thing you do when you get home is you go into that login queue, then you do everything else, and hopefully by the time you sit down, you're pretty close to getting in game. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And worst case, like there's the 30-minute timer before you get kicked out. So, I mean, as long as you don't exceed that, you'll be in game when you get in. Yeah.
That's what I was about to say too.
Mhm.
I've been telling everyone, you have 29 minutes of being inactive. Do not go to 30. If you try to play chicken, you might get kicked. So make sure you are active at least once every 29 minutes, and that way you won't get kicked out. Especially if you have to go make dinner or something, just keep tabs, because they do it. It's frustrating that they do it, but they do it for a reason. They do it to help everyone get into the game and prevent people from logging out or being AFK for several hours at a time. So, yep.
Now, before anyone says it in the comments, I already hear it in the background. It's like, there are ways around that. Like if you're actively talking to an NPC, or if you're in a cutscene, or if you're interacting with a merchant. Now, these were true in Endwalker. We have no reason to believe absolutely it's true in Dawntrail. So unless you're willing to test it, we can't say for certain. I can't give anyone that advice. It has worked in the past, but a cognizant dev team might have found a way to work around the workaround, Like,
for sure. And I think people will probably always find a way around. Risk it however risky you want to be. Just realize that there could be, if you try to talk to an NPC and say, oh, I'm good for 45 minutes, that may or may not be true. So if you want to be the first test subject, then by all means.
Awesome. Okay. So what are the first things you are doing in Dawntrail?
absolutely two things. Number one, I am looking at the vendors. This is my little thing I like to do. I don't know why. Every expansion, every patch, I go to like the housing vendors and I sit and I wait and I want to see the new shiny things. So that is typically the first thing I will do, as cheesy and silly as it sounds. After that, same thing with the market board. And after that, I'm going straight into the MSQ. I never used to be, when I started this game, I was not an MSQ girly. I was like, if it's not voiced, I'm skipping the cutscene. It's not important. What, I was naive. This is my first MMO. Back in 2015, I was very naive. However, now I don't want to rush through it, but it's the first thing that I really want to get through and fully enjoy and fully engross myself in.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
16-hour days with my husband, just story.
So, I mean, yeah, on that, it's new news, but at least 6 hours streaming as a drops Twitch streamer, there is now Final Fantasy rewards. So,
announced today.
Yes,
I cannot wait. I know. I'm so excited for my community to get their. I'm gonna not say it again. Whatever.
I'm not even gonna try to say it.
The chocolate coated.
The Butterfingers mount.
The Butterfingers mount. Exactly.
Oh man. So as a Canadian, I did not get it the first time around, obviously, because I was not eligible. So this is a fantastic opportunity to get my hands on it. And all I have to do is watch some of my favorite Twitch streamers. So it's win-win really for everyone.
It is a super win-win for everyone. And let me say, as a small 14 creator on the smaller side, I am very happy that this is now open to everyone as creators, because I know they've done select creators in the past for Twitch collaborations, but I'm glad that they're opening the net a little bit more. I think they kind of showed that with the media tour. They added a larger amount of content creators in the past, so I am excited that we're getting this more of an open net for creators to come in this space and also participate in these type of things for their communities, because yeah, it is great. It is a great opportunity, especially a great feeling going into Dawntrail that maybe there will be more opportunities that kind of have a wider net casted. Oh gosh, words hard.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean, the Chocobo event was, I think, a surprise for everyone. It was a surprise for the creators. It was a surprise for the volume and everything on probably Square Enix's end. Like, it was insanely popular, and would I like to see monetary rewards for streamer who are streaming the content? Yeah, absolutely. But maybe don't. It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I was there like the first day of the event in Mr. Happy's stream, and he was backed up like an hour and a half with subscribe notifications. It was just overwhelming. So this is at least kind of a lurky background way to get rewards without having to go through that.
Yeah. It's good too, because I feel like as a viewer as well, I do watch a lot of the bigger streamers like Mr. Happy, for instance. I do enjoy watching his streams. However, I have small creators that I watch on a regular basis too that are more niche. And so I'm glad that I can still support my niche, smaller people, and then also, help them have a view and help me get rewards.
Awesome. So is there anything else you were doing right away at launch?
I think that's really it. I think I'm gonna look at the items that were added into the game that are easily accessible, like the market board, the vendors, and then straight into story. How about yourself?
See, I'm kind of opposite of you. So every expansion to date, I've been MSQ first. Like, I would log in and then get the story done as quickly as possible so I could talk about all the spoilers with everyone else. But this time around, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to pick up Viper. I'm going to like level them. I'm going to like do roulettes. I'm going to do gathering, fishing, everything that isn't MSQ for at least the first couple of days to allow my community to get ahead of me in the story. So they're able to watch my reaction to it afterwards. I am very cognizant that there will be spoilers. I'm going to try to avoid them. I'm not going to be upset if I hear something accidentally because it's not going to change my genuine reaction to seeing it. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to taking Dawntrail a little bit more casually than content I have in the past.
That's awesome though. Especially because you know, being a creator is also very important to like your gaming journey in 14. So having that idea in mind, I think is really cool to have off the get-go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, plus I'm looking forward to being on like the fishing boats right away, the ocean fishing boats. They're with expansions, like this probably ties into the last question. There's always things that appear in game at release that we don't see anywhere else. Like the patch notes will include new things that they've not mentioned. There'll be surprise additions to the game. So things maybe like new ocean fishing routes or something is not outside the realm of possibility. So expect one or two kind of launch day surprises that we really didn't have on our radar at all. And again, like you said, new vendors. So maybe there's new items added in the PvP vendors. Maybe there's new in the gold saucer. So just kind of exploring and seeing what has been added and where is like a little scavenger hunt. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You give yourself time to play around too. Like it feels pretty low key and like nice and exploratory, which I think is perfect for the theme of Dawntrail, you know?
Exactly. Those like 16 hours I'm dual die channeling all my gear is totally gonna be worth it. Oh my word. I've got a glamour dresser full of 800 things I want to dual die, so
Now that you say that, I've had to do that recently, get rid of some of the stuff in my glamour dresser because I'm like, I will be putting more shiny things in here. So I gave myself like 50 slots. Like, I'm gonna empty this out, toss them in the retainer, because I will definitely be playing around with that while I'm waiting in queues or having a bite to eat or something.
yeah. No, I mean for sure. I mean, redoing all the portraits, making them Dawntrail themed, like redoing the glam plates. Hopefully, there's at least a couple of more, like at least 2 more for Viper and Pictomancer. Like, come on. It's,
Glam is the true endgame, as I've been told.
I mean, come on. If you're Fanta-ing, like you need to look good.
Oh yeah, you have that added level of everything too with the Fantasia because you have to redo everything's going to be broken as far as glamour plates, adventurer plate, portraits, all that. So
not only that, but with the graphics update, like it's all gonna look different and shiny and
that's another thing too, just looking at the game. I might actually do that before the MSQ, just go to an old zone, like one of my favorite older zones, and just look. I just want to look at it. Grass, I want to look at it. Trees, I want to look at them. I want to see the new shiny updated graphics.
It's like you've been blind your whole life and you just got a pair of glasses. You need to know what it looks like. Yeah.
The one thing my doctor told me when I got glasses for the first time, you'll actually see every leaf on the tree. And I'm like, that exists? Those exist? What are you talking about?
Okay, I got a tangent from my story. So I was in high school when I finally got my eyes tested. And I was at the point where I couldn't see. Like I couldn't see the chalkboard. I couldn't see anything. And so I went to the optometrist and he found out that I had like a pretty substantial prescription. And so what he did was he took the lenses out of his little machine and told me to hold them up to my eyes and go look out the window. And I started to cry because for the first time in my life, I realized that you could see like blades of grass and leaves on trees. Like it just was something I never knew people could see from like a distance. So no, it is amazing. So I hope some people get those feels too.
Yeah. I'm sure. A, that is a very precious story. B, Very precious. B, I think it's going to be pretty surreal. I mean, we've played the game, both of us, a collective probably 20 years if you add both of our time up, and so it's like it's going to be insane looking at, old A Realm Reborn zones and just revisiting them in a new lens. It's going to be pretty wild.
I remember every blade of grass in this zone because I've had to run across it 50 times doing fates back before we can fly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially on my Lala ult. You are very close to those blades of grass.
Oh, man. Okay. So you mentioned it before, 16-hour days getting through Dawntrail MSQ because we are going to get absorbed. What self-care strategies do you use for getting through binge playtime sessions?
I have so many little things that I'm doing for myself, and some are probably over the top. First one is this week, meal prep. It is the meal prep week. It is half factor meals, half going and making food and either freezing it or refrigerating it in advance, because it is so easy to just be like, oh, I'll just grab a bag of chips. I'll just snack all day. I'm not in my 20s anymore. That doesn't work. I have stomach issues, so
indigestion is a thing.
I won't even get into detail, but it's just having healthy foods available and easy food, so less stress. If you can pop something in the microwave, spend more time in game, have less stress, eat healthy. That I think is like a huge self-care thing. Another big one for me, like right off the bat, is just forcing myself to take breaks. Even just to, I have my Apple Watch, it does the every hour, like, did you stand up this hour yet? Things like that. Like, it seems silly, but when you're sitting at a desk for hours and hours, just like, you need to get up, stretch, go take a lap, get some water, use the bathroom, all that fun stuff. So try to have those kind of like small little sanity check-ins with myself here and there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely am all aboard on the meal thing, especially any sort of dietary restrictions like gluten-free. Like, I want to make sure I have a freezer full of like gluten-free, like reheat and eat meals because it's so easy to just grab the junk food that's all ready to go. As well, I always make sure no matter what happens, I get up and I shower before I do anything. Because if you're clean, you feel better. Like, I think with a couple of launches, like I've done 16-hour days for a weekend. And by like the second or third day, you're just feeling so gross.
Stank. So, the gamers stank. I go to conventions. It exists.
I mean, as long as you get up, stretch, take a shower before you get into it, then you can at least say you did that. You met the minimum bar for being a human that day. Like, congratulations.
Don't have to be a valuable member of society. Just be a clean member of society. That's all we're asking. I do the opposite too. I like the shower at the end of the night before I jump into bed, because I'm like, I need to get this out of the way. I need to get this body clean, and then in the morning I'm ready to go.
and do make sure you're sleeping. Like, I mean, I know it's exciting and all, but just think of it, if you go to bed and you sleep, then you'll be able to get right back into it the next morning. So.
And you'll be able to absorb more. I feel like anytime I've tried doing the sleep deprived, like, oh, I'm just going to go into it super hard, like I don't remember half the story, and I'm just kind of like foggy brained. I plan to go to bed early Thursday night and wake up early Friday morning, but I believe that's going to be it for the super early, like the super weird sleep schedule. Everything else will try to be kind of like a more consistent go to bed, wake up, so I can actually sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got into that in Endwalker. Like, Endwalker for veteran players was just so engrossing, especially from like the halfway through to the end. I think I got to a point where it's like, you're just like, okay, one more quest, one more quest, one more quest, one more quest. And then you hit a wall, which is one of these instanced duties. and you're so tired and you just want to get to a spot where you feel comfortable leaving the game, and you try this instance and it kicks your butt so bad you feel like crying, and you're just like, okay, fine, I'll go to bed. But I honestly think that's why those instanced fight exists, to kind of be a wall for people who are up way past their bedtime.
Is it sad that the devs probably have to look out for us in that way? Like, okay, all right, little warrior of light, go to bed. We'll see you in the morning.
Especially with Endwalk, I think that they stepped up the difficulty of those duties substantially from other expansions.
Absolutely. I think it's great though, because as people level up, the skill level is going to increase, no matter what. And anytime somebody's like, it's not hard enough, and then you go into some of these instant things, I'm like, I don't know about you, it's kind of difficult. It's a good challenge though.
I mean, it's nothing you can't get through, but I mean, honestly, there was one that took me a good couple of attempts. Was
it in Garlemald?
Yes, it was.
Same.
Because I had no idea what was going on. They didn't spell it out for us. You just wander around and try to figure it out, but...
My heart was actually racing.
Yeah.
That one where you're in the other body and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna see me, what do I do? I'm so weak. But it's good. I think that's part of the world building too, They're just like, okay, we're gonna actually physically cause you stress, and you're gonna feel like the story makes you want to feel,
No, it's beautiful, but I wonder if they're going to keep at that level or if they're going to go down from there, but yeah, anything else on the topic of self-care or the launch?
Maybe touch grass once in the weekend. That's pretty much all my main things are gonna be, is like make sure I'm walking around. I bought myself, and I think I'm gonna try to use it as much as I can for not battle content. I bought myself a walking pad, and I have like a raising, not my whole desk raises up, but like just like a platform with my main monitor and my keyboard, so that I can try to walk sometimes and get like maybe like a good hour walk in a day. That's a little bit on the extreme side of things, but just kind of remembering like your physical health and like little things that you can do to try to feel better, especially if you're going hardcore, like taking a week off of work. Plus, hi, I'm Pyra. So things like that.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I think that is yeah, I think that's it for the news portion of our broadcast. So we do have some specialty news areas that we kind of want to go over. Let's first community check-in. And we have a little thing in the corner of the screen, community check-in. Maybe there'll be a sound occasionally. There you go. So this is the part of the broadcast where we ask you to participate. So I tried to set up a Twitter account for this news broadcast, and realized how broken X is. Because after several attempts, I could not create an account. So for this week, what we're going to do is we want to see your best Dawntrail memes. So send us any memes you get over the next week. We want to take a look at them. We'll find our favorites and we'll discuss them on the next episode. So just make sure on Twitter or X that you're tagging us. So what do we got? We got Pyra and the Gamer Debbie on Twitter. Tag us in any memes you see.
I want to see every single meme. Everyone. I will be scouring.
Absolutely. we know they're gonna be there, so let's see them. Hot topic. Oops. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. Okay.
You got this. You do okay.
Topics.
Not the store.
Not
I see you, fellow millennials. Hot topics plural.
Okay. Is limiting DC travel the way they did a good way to avoid congestion? Is only traveling to Dynamis a good idea? What are your thoughts on what they have done to try to limit congestion this time around?
I'm hopeful. I don't know if that was the best solution. I do personally think, and I am one person that I'm going to stay on my server, and multiple reasons, the main one being my FC buffs, and the secondary reason being my retainers. But I do see some people using that as an option. Another thing that I really like, and I know it's not necessarily for the launch, the first week of launch of the expansion, but going into raiding 2 weeks after launch date, you might not be able to cross world travel, and so we can at least go to, I think, Dynamis. Everyone can still, at least if you're an NA, go to Dynamis and meet up with your static of another data center, another world if needed. So I do appreciate that those things are already baked into that whole concept now, because I know people that do cross data center travel for raiding specifically, and that's something that kind of sticks in the back of my mind when we hear locked travel.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Aether is on lockdown. Everyone can leave, but no one can enter. So Dynamis is going to be the new meeting place on North America for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oceania, I believe, is an option too. I'm sorry. I think Oceania is also an option, but that you have to worry about, completely other part of the world from North America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what was I going to say? Oh, and Dynamis still has a lot of housing, guys. So if you're like visiting for raid and you're with your raid group and you're like, hey, I like that I got in very quickly here, and you want to consider moving, there's lots of space to do so.
I feel like you are the biggest champion for Dynamis. Please come.
I created a YouTube video for this.
I have cookies. We have housing slots and cookies.
Yeah. No, I think it's great for the world. I hope it's not temporary. Because Dynamis still is a very underpopulated data center for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a great way to get people to go out of their comfort zone and to give Dynamis a shot as well. Just thinking about that now, a lot of people in general are like, change is difficult for them. And so I know even when Crystal became a thing, I think the only reason why anybody went to Crystal is because they forcefully looked at like Aether and Primal and they were like, okay, we're taking you and you, you're coming over. Mm-hmm. You have no say, you're coming to Crystal. So I think with Dynamis being a new thing and maybe not as many people going over, this might also be a good deployment tactic like that to get some people to consider doing a perma move.
Yeah. No, there's lots of room for everyone. Just take a look at those residential districts when you come to visit.
It is empty. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think they could have done anything else or anything different to help the congestion issues? Like, it was bad for Endwalker, like bad.
It was so bad. It's kind of one of those scenarios where I'm sure a better option exists, but I can't think of one. I think for knowing Square Enix through this game as much as I have, they like to play certain things safe. I think this is a safe option for them to allow people to still have some flexibility and freedom without them completely trying something new, especially so close to the expansion. Like, some of these servers were just announced within the past weeks, if not a month at least. Mm-hmm. It's very recent, and that to me is shocking that they're still updating these things. I think it's a safe option, but I think it's like probably the best one that they could pull off in limited time to try to get people over there. Now, I'm curious to see if it works, in the sense of I'm curious to see who's going to go over there, because I feel like some people like myself will probably put their foot down and be like, no, I want to be on my home world for a bit. So I am curious how often people will self move, go over there. But yeah, I give it like a B option,
Okay.
B plus, maybe B minus.
And I mean, it won't stop other types of congestion issues. So there are still limits to how many people in each zone. There are still limits to how many people can log in at once. There are still world limits where there's a total number of players that can be on the world at any one time. So, I mean, if you're wanting to just get on quickly to do MSQ, hopefully it's a shorter queue. I can't see why it wouldn't be. So
yeah, and unless they're changing it, I believe. So now when you have to travel data center, travel world, you can do it right from the login menu, the login screen. You have to. So I think it'll be really good if you do try to go in and to your home world and it is packed. You can just kind of swap over. You don't have to necessarily wait halfway through your queue, try to get all the way through. You can make that executive decision as you're trying to log in, and then just be like, okay, no, we're just going to go hop to Dynamis. So I don't know if it's necessarily exactly as easy like I just said, but it seems like it'll be an easier alternative to just sitting in a queue and waiting if we do get massively huge queues.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so world stability, we're just hoping they hold on for dear life, right? Like just until, the people who are off work, just until those people who are taking a week vacation go back to work, and then it'll kind of mellow out itself.
Absolutely. I think the only other option I would have liked to see, but I know that they weren't ready, was cloud. The cloud data center, I don't know if you tested the cloud. It was nice for the most part. My slide casting didn't want to work for me that well. Everything else was like super fast, super efficient. I don't think they're ready, especially like with an expansion with like a big graphical update and all these things. I would have been kind of really scared if they tried doing cloud servers now, or like swapping everything over. That would have been a little scary, but I am hoping that that's maybe a direction we push in. It's nice getting a lot of these Dynamis, additional servers, but are we getting cloud in the future? Maybe for 8.0? That would be really neat, I think.
See, I was on the cloud server for those couple of weeks, and I really enjoyed the internationalness of it. Like, just being on a server with people from all over the world, and we were there kind of at the very end when servers went down and there was this giant party in Emirat. Yeah, it was just a phenomenal experience. So
it was really good. I was not there for that, but I was there for the party where they were like, come and try to crash this in in Costa del Sol. And I remember some of my friends couldn't get in. It literally was at cap, and everyone was using holies and street, poppers, and paladins were putting their wings up. Like, everyone was spamming everything to try to crash the server, and no one was having issues. And it was just like a delightful little party.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is really, there is something really fun to, like you say, the internationalism. I do love the idea of even, I thought I would hate it at first, but like going to Aether for raiding for myself sometimes is nice, because it's like you see so many people, and it's like all different walks of life, all different play styles, more than normal, and it's like, this is really neat.
Yeah. No. So I hope they utilize cloud servers more in the future, and I hope there may eventually be a cloud DC that's kind of a worldwide DC, and players from any region would be able to use it freely. So
For
Be
sure.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next. Shh. Shh. What we aren't talking about. I don't know. This is kind of a cute little segment. This is what we're not talking about. So this is a topic, a hot topic in the community that is overdone. It's dead. We're going to say our final words on it and then just lay it to rest. I want to get like a cute little taps graphic with a grave. Like, let's put this one to bed. This week, of course, it's probably everyone is thinking it because it is literally everywhere. The healer strike. The healer strike. Do you have any final words for the healer strike?
My final words that I won't elaborate on much. It is easy to say certain things when you're going into certain content with people that do the ultimate endgame rating with many years of experience under your belt. That sounds kind of ominous, but
oh, that's it. Okay.
It's a riddle. I am sick of hearing about it myself. I do think that all opinions are valid, but I do think it is very difficult to gauge something. And this is just a general thing that I've talked about with friends about any type of content in the game. When you are playing this game on the extreme end, it is hard to say that you're the median because you're not. So it is very difficult to consider that opinion of the median mind of the player base. And that's where I'll end that.
Okay. No. Rest in peace, healer strike. My final words is just, it's an example of something that's been taken way out of proportion because people are bored and don't have anything else to talk about. And so it's lost all meaning, and Joshi P is checking in with his North American social media team and asking, what's new and exciting in North America? What are they talking about today? Are they super excited about Dawntrail? And she looks at him and goes, they're talking about a healer's strike? And he just kind of throws up his hands and goes and smokes because he doesn't know what's going on with North America. No one does, so...
Poor Yoshi cried once. When Endwalker had to get pushed, he cried. We cannot keep making that man cry. We don't want Dad to leave us. He has to stay.
So rest in peace. Like, that no more need be said. Nope. Tip of the week. This is where we give you an in-game tip that you may or may not know. Hopefully, it's a lesser-known tip. Usually I'm well-researched and I have a few to give you, but nah. Pyra, however, has one this week. What is it?
This week, and we kind of brushed upon it a little bit, make sure you are in your home world. Please, before servers go down. Servers go down tomorrow night, technically Wednesday morning, like early hours. Mm-hmm. Just a reminder from the lodestone, if you are not on your home data center / world, you get lesser priority of other people logging in queue. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind that servers shut down for travel 30 minutes before the servers go down in general. So if you think, oh, I'll do it 5 minutes before servers close, nope. They close the gates half an hour before the servers go down in general. So make sure if you are going in tomorrow night for your last hoorah, goodbye to Endwalker, just make sure you're home in somewhere less congested, less instance, like Debbie noted, so that you can get right in the game and have less than any issues going into Dawntrail.
Absolutely. So yeah, we have had it seen where they've had to shut down residential districts because people couldn't get in or out, or things like the firmament because people couldn't get in and out. So a non-instanced area is like an open world area or a major city. Anything that you have to queue into, whether it's a personal queue or a duty finder queue, just don't. Be home. Be in the world. Just make it as easy as possible to get in on yourself, because future you will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I've also logged out sometimes in a Realm Reborn zones, like low maps that not many people will probably be logging it. You know, you don't think like, I'm going to go to East Shroud. right away in Dawntrail, so sometimes going into those areas that are probably going to be the least congested might be a good idea as well if you're trying to find a non-instanced lower populated zone.
No, absolutely. Like if someone's having a party in Limsa and you log out there and everyone logs back in there, it's going to take twice as long to load. Yeah. Especially with all the new graphics updates, like everyone's going to look shiny when you get to see them, but it's going to take a while to get to see them.
Exactly.
Awesome. That was our tip of the week. What do we got next? We got upcoming important dates. So as we've discussed already, maintenance starts June 26th, so Wednesday at 2 a.m. Pacific time. So right in the middle of the night. So hopefully few people will be on, but if you're on, please take our tip to heart. And ends approximately 2 a.m. Pacific on the 28th, the Friday. So if you want to, you can get up super early and start to play before anyone else. Now, keep in mind that maintenance times are approximate. They tend to finish up regular maintenances early because they like under promise and over deliver. But it tends to be a little bit different with expansions because there's so much going on. It may be an hour or two later than what they've said. So don't assume that it's going to be done earlier. If anything, it might be done a little bit later.
Absolutely. And if I can add with the dates as well, within that 48-hour window, we can download the bulk, if not all of the patch. The dates that I see, if your console, and they keep saying around. They're like trying not to promise anything specific. So they're like around June 26th at 4 a.m. Pacific. And for Windows, Mac, and Steam, around June 27th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So definitely keep that in mind so that you can get the game on your computer or console as fast as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've already posted some information about the sizes that they're looking for patches and stuff. So make sure you've got enough room on your computer / console to be able to download the patch. My solid state drive is lost in transit.
I saw that. Oh no.
So there's apparently some sort of like shipping strike going on near here.
I'm over these strikes.
Just fantastic. So if I don't get it by Tuesday, I'm gonna maybe go to the store and try to panic. Like you don't understand how important this is.
Oh gosh. Just yell at the clerk. I am the warrior of light. I need this now.
You don't understand. Well, I guess the world doesn't need me right now, but
you need it.
Aaronvel wants me, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, and something about KupoCon?
KupoCon. So this KupoCon, I don't know if anybody else has seen it. My Twitter is blown up with updates about KupoCon lately. It is a Final Fantasy fan-made event, not associated with Square Enix at all. However, they are going to be doing an online event on the 27th, so like kind of like a Hello Dawntrail sort of event, and pretty much every Scion of the Seventh Dawn's North American voice actor is going to be present at this event. So I think it's just a really cool opportunity. I can post a link in YouTube chat. If you like seeing the voice actors and if you have nothing to do the night before the expansion, definitely check it out because it looks like the only Scion I think they're missing is Alphino. I don't know where Alphino is, but everybody else's voice actor is in attendance. And yeah, it just looks like a really cool fan-made event to say hello to Dawntrail.
Absolutely. So yeah, go check it out. I've never participated in any one of these.
I haven't either, but I've kept my eye on it because they're literally all over the place. They've had a Canadian event, they've had a United States one, they have over in London and in, I think, Australia too. So it's kind of a widespread fan event. I don't think it's 100% 14. I think it's all the Final Fantasy franchise. However, I did think it was really cool to see this free online event with all the Scions and even Wook Lamont, voice actress for Wook Lamont as well. So kind of nice little ramp up to the expansion.
Cool. Very cool. And I guess anyone who was in London today got to see an Aetheryte. Did you see that?
I'm kind of jealous.
Right? I would have definitely taken pictures with the Aetheryte.
Absolutely. I think they had like an official fan meetup too, if I'm not mistaken. I kept seeing people post pictures of kind of like the same type of mocktails that they had at the media tour. There we go. That's what I'm thinking. The media tour, like the Pictomancer drink and the Viper drink, and I'm like, where is this near me?
I don't know. All I'm saying is that if you build it, they will come. Like if there's a giant Aetheryte in your city and you go there, other fans will go there and you will find your people. So like, you know.
They will. There was even an Emmett Selk cosplayer there that I was like, that is fantastic. I've seen one Aetheryte. It was at PAX East during the Stormblood launch. And I remember attuning to that Aetheryte in a photo, but I wanted to take it home, and I don't think they would let me. It also wouldn't have fit in my apartment at the time, or my house now.
I mean, those
lawn ornament.
Secondary concerns. Secondary concerns.
Exactly.
Okay, and those are the segments that you can expect to see in these weekly podcasts. I am looking forward to seeing your memes, and yeah, we'll continue to bring this kind of content to you. It's been about an hour, which is kind of what we're aiming for these. Just short and sweet, so it's not something you need to listen to or invest a couple of hours in. So I hope it's been fantastic for everyone in chat. The hard part for me is seeing like everyone chatting in chat and not being able to chat back, because then this would be like 5 hours long. Like it would just be ridiculous. But I have seen all your comments. Thank you so much. Pyra, did you want to say some words?
Just to stay tuned. We have a lot of really fun stuff for you guys. If you have any ideas or requests, throw them our way. But I'm very excited for this. I think Debbie, you and I, we've been long-term creators in the space, enjoyers of the Final Fantasy XIV space, and we love updating our communities individually. So seeing us come together as a team to do it here in this platform, I think is really going to be fun. So I'm excited for this journey ahead. I'm excited for Dawntrail. I am so ready to jump into a new expansion. So good things are on the horizon.
Absolutely. So we are looking forward to doing this again, same time next week, and hopefully on the other side of a few days of Dawntrail. So it'll be spoiler free, but I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about. So
lots of memes too.
Absolutely. Remember to tag us on Twitter. Those Twitter handles again will be in the description. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.